Oh, hey there. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I turned one of these, a basic sandstone, into one of these, a cool little gift you can sell or give away for the holidays to family or friends using one of those, a fiber laser. So to do this project, you're going to use a program called Lighburn. And when you get Lighburn, you're going to need to import an image. So you're going to have to go out on the internet, find an image that's a black and white image, dinosaur, or whatever you're looking to do. You're importing that into Lighburn, and then you're going to actually trace that image using the trace function in Lighburn. After you've traced it, you're going to put a circle around it or some sort of border around it. That border acts as a fill method. And that fill method will make it so anything that is in black will be etched. Anything that's left in white will be what you're going to be left with, in this case, the dinosaur bones. You're going to end up saving that file as an SVG file. That's what I need to use to import into my Ezcad 3 software. If you're using Lighburn itself, you can just do this whole project right in Lighburn, and you would be able to use it on your fiber laser to etch your stone. Board on my laser does not work with Lighburn. Okay, my friends, we've done the initial design using Lighburn software. That's where I got the internet image. I did the trace of it and did a vector file, which I need to import to my fiber laser. I have a 60-watt fiber laser from OTN. Great laser, great people to work with. Highly recommend them. So if you're looking for a laser, that's where I would start. Moving on, I'm going to import the vector image, the Dino Demo 1, into the Ezcad software, center that up, and that's going to be way too big for the stone that I'm doing, and way too big for the screen that I'm able to work with. So we're going to shrink that down, center it up, and I'm probably going to have to go quite a bit smaller. So it's going to vary the size that you can use depending on the stone you have. I'm using a 110 lens, so I have to use a somewhat smaller area. First thing I want to do is ungroup everything, and then what I want to do is I want to make a copy of the outermost ring. That's going to be my alignment layer. It's also going to help me adjust it so I can make sure everything fits on the stone. So we're going to name that outline, do a Control-C, Control-V, paste it, and then I want to go down and group together everything else except for that alignment layer. And once it's grouped together, I'm going to kind of hide it just so I can get it off the screen for the time being. And then I'm going back to my outline layer, and I want to see what that looks like. So I know I need to set my height fixture offset to 37, 38. That's going to be my measurement for my focal distance. I'm probably going to have to home it, but we'll actually not too bad. So moving it over, and based on that, I'm going to be able to go a little bit bigger, which we will certainly do. So bringing it back up both layers, we're going to stretch it up a little, out a little, on both sides. And this alignment really depends again on the size of your stone and what you want to do with your design. So again, we'll see what the red light looks like. And you know, heck of it, I can go a little bit bigger even. And that's what I'm going to do. Make her a little bit bigger. Bigger is sometimes better. Okay, let's see what she looks like now. Then I want to just hide that outer layer, the one that I use for alignment, get rid of that so we don't see it. And the grouped together one, we're going to hatch that. The hatch I'm using is going to be a continuous cross hatch, a 0.01 line, 45-degree angle for hatch 1. Hatch 2 is negative 45, in the same settings otherwise. For the actual cut parameters and power, I am using a setting that I have for stone, and that gets me 2500 for speed. I'm going to bump that up for power from the 25 that it was set at to 65. Let's go 70. And I'm going to get the depth that I want, it's going to take 10 or 15 passes or loops. So my loop count, I'm going to set to 15. And we're going to let this run, and it's going to take some time. So everything looks good. My measurement stick, we'll get her measured up, see what the height is. And not too bad. I can actually come down to 37, just get her a little bit more focused. The settings that I use, somebody may have something better out there. If you have something better that you think works better, throw it down in the comments. I'd be interested to see what you're using compared to what I use. And it may be better, and I'm certainly willing to learn from other folks. Just one more time, I want to take a look at my alignment. Still looking good there. Nothing changed too dramatically with the fixture offset. Now we'll mark it. All right, that's going to rip. With this, because you're burning stone, I really, really highly recommend that you or exhaust fan running. You do not want to breathe these stone dust particles in. It's really not good for you. So we're going to get that running. As you can see, you're kind of wafting up already, and I'm breathing it in before I get my fan going. So stone bits and vaporized stone in the lungs is probably really not good for you, and I'm going to avoid that. And you can see see it's starting to take shape just a little bit. Okay folks, we're finishing up the 15th loop or 15th pass of the etch of this stone, and it's looking pretty good. We've got about a 2 to 3 millimeter etch cut into the stone, showing off those dinosaur bones. This is a pretty cool project. Throughout the year, I make a bunch of these, whether it's for holidays or to sell to folks or give away gifts, whatever. As you can see, it's not hard to do from what I've shown you, and these work out real good. I've got nothing else for you. I want you to know one thing though, before you leave. Your couch sucks. It's time for you to get up, get on, get out in your garage and do something epic, like etch some dinosaur bones. See ya.